Hello, this is Timika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. Today is December the 6th, 2021. This is my 23rd episode, and we are going into a new year, 2022. And I I recently found out that the holidays can be very hard for people, especially those who have gone through traumatic experiences like myself, being sexually abused by two male family members between the ages of 5 and 10. And before that, my first time with the generational cycle of pain was back when I was before the age of 4. And that was when I realized that my father did not want to admit to his pain. And I was the one that was sitting in the chair on trial. But I want to focus more on how we can take our life back in 2022, and even not waiting until January. Because, often we set goals and we say, okay, I'm going to enjoy this Christmas, this New Year, this Thanksgiving with food. I'm going to eat. I'm going to do whatever, eat whatever I want. And then come the new year, okay, I'm going to start with my goal. And the day to actually start with our goals is now. Because I'm here to say that I believe we don't need to continue to suffer because of what someone else did to us, because of their projection of pain. And I'm here in this episode to tell you that the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to remember who you are. And for me, just to kind of fill you in a little bit more about where I come from, is that I didn't label my experience with abuse. That's one. I realized that I experienced something that I didn't like, that I didn't want to continue to experience. There was something greater than me, there was something, I was here for a purpose. Something greater than me out there loved me. And that I felt like I could still have my childhood. So there are many pictures where you will find I'll find myself laughing and smiling, just smiling and laughing. And there are some pictures that I'm just like, okay, those picture days that we all have. But for me, Christmas was sitting around our humongous Christmas tree, my two brothers and I just sitting around thinking about bloopers, family bloopers, talking about our insights and talking about our goals. And this is even after the abuse happened. That I believe that because I had gone through that, I didn't need to stagnate. I didn't need to stay put. I didn't need to stay in this dark circle, in this unknown, that there was something greater for me. And early on, I realized that, and the seeds would continue to sow, that the pain was not about me. So if you have never heard this podcast before, any pain that someone has tried to project on you or projected on you, it wasn't about you, because we all have a choice. We all make choices in how we treat people. And often people that are hurting, that do not know how to turn their pain into a healthy perspective, to use the pain energy to transmute it to light. For me, it was like, okay, I know how I felt when that happened to me. And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. And, the disappointment, I get it. The frustration, the anger, the betrayal, the confusion, the resentment, even vengeance. I get that on my level and what I've dealt with. But I also get that why should I have to live in anger? Why should I have to be mad all the time, frustrated? Why do I have to seek vengeance? Why do I have to be resentful? Why do I have to feel shameful, guilty? when I know that no child is responsible or causes an adult to project their pain on him or her. See, children are not responsible for adults' reactions. And it doesn't take away what was done or what you experienced or what I experienced, but for me, it put things in a different perspective. And if you think about everything that you have gone through, that you are here today, even for reasons, many of your experiences have not been pretty. You have experienced probably things, other things that have happened that have caused a sense of betrayal or confusion or silencing of your voice, whether it was at work, whether it was at school. You have felt angry, shameful, guilty. That many of those experiences can bring about those emotions and feelings. And for me, it was relating to something greater than me, believing that I had within me something that could help me transcend the experiences, the childhood sexual abuse. That the greatest gift that I could give myself is coming back home to myself, even after years. See, I've been on detours, and many, people that have experienced childhood sexual abuse, we go down paths, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, food, emotional healing, multiple relationships, whether it's even other things that are destructive to our being. We travel down those detours. I've been on a 20 plus detour living someone else's life because I couldn't find my purpose. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't know why I was here. I knew I was here, but what was the reason that I was here? And I really didn't ask that question, you guys, until 3 years ago. Like, really ask that question. What is my purpose? How will I make my mark on the world? And I received an answer. And I believe that when we desire to be whole, see, there has to be a desire, that you have to desire to be whole, that anger towards someone else is less than your desire to be free and to be whole, complete, to live out your divine purpose. Because when we continue to be angry, frustrated, denial that it even happened, we are putting something else above our worth, something else that we spend our wheels about instead of working out this journey, this wonderful divine journey, this amazing body that we have, that knows when our heart needs to beat, our lungs need to dilate, that knows when our arms need to reach and hug and caress, to speak the words of truth, even when we don't know where those words come from. It is to show that you are greater than what you went through, than what you experienced. And that is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Because I know, I believe that until you feel valued, until you feel like you have purpose, all of this, the quick fixes, the diets, the 5 days a week, 7 days a week, exercise 30 minutes an hour, the weightlifting, the body, the right job, the right marriage, the right children, the right career, nothing of that comes even close to being your true self. And I used to wonder, and just even thinking about that, I didn't even know that was going to come out. I'm doing this just talking to you, and actually I'm talking to myself, because I believe what I say to you, I say to myself. We reinforce our truths by the principles, by the words that we speak, by the truth that we speak. And there isn't anything. You've heard it where people have the greatest jobs. I mean, millions of dollars, billions of dollars, have the greatest life that you would see on the outside. Greatest voice, greatest way to play music, great inventions out in nature. But until we are one with ourselves, where we are looking for no external comforters, alcohol, none of them, drugs, none of that, people to love us and to see us for who we are, we have to see ourselves first and understand that we are more powerful, we are more useful, we are living great with greater joy and freedom when we are ourselves, when we are our truth, when it's not about, and I say this in my memoir, it's not about letting the 2 family members off the hook that sexually abused me. It's about me being responsible and accountable for the life that I have. That I said that even though they had my body, misused my body for a time, I still have my mind. I still have my body, and I still have a choice in how to see my experience. I didn't pretty up the story. I remember everything. My cell, as I've told you, every cell in our body knows what happened. So there was no reason for me as a child to deny what had happened. There was no reason for me as an adult to deny what happened. And often we say, I can't look down that road. But down that road, you guys, is a part of you that knows why you are here. So often, the baggage we carry, that anger, that pain, that resentment, is covering up the true gifts that are within you. It's like digging for treasure. That love, that compassion, that empathy, that strength, that resilience, that often is underneath all of the stuff that we put on top of it. All of the false information that says you are unworthy, you are trash, you shoulda, coulda, woulda. No one can tell you what you shoulda, coulda, woulda, because no one has walked your shoes. From the beginning of my experience with cycle of pain and how it happened, that everyone projects their pain, granted differently, in different ways. And it's not about, well, your experience wasn't as bad as mine, or I didn't go through that. Pain is pain. It's not about being greater or lesser, because when it all boils down, we are all the same. We have one thing in common, and that is the oneness that we belong to. Whether you're blue, brown, white, yellow, light brown, whatever color, whatever race, whatever religion that you are, we are one. Pain hurts, period. And when someone else experiences it, when I hear of someone else experiencing it, it bothers me. Because here I'm thinking that we're going to eventually get it, that we can stop abusing others, that we can stop doing wrong to others. But when we don't heal ourselves, when we don't remember who we are, we have the potential of continuing the cycle of pain. And someone say, well, I would never abuse someone because I know how it feels. But remember, pain comes in many forms. And often the principles are the same. Confusion, if we are happy 1 minute with our children and the next minute we're going off of them and spanking them because we're upset, or we're cursing at them, or we're road rage, whatever that is, those are expressions of pain. And we continue that cycle of pain of other people being angry because of what you did, the children taking it personally and being angry, and then they go on to project their pain in a different way. And so when we remember who we are striving towards, we're aiming towards, we're looking at how can we use what we have gone through to make the world, if you will, a better place. Again, it's not about letting people off the hook, because not everybody will be at the same conscious level. You have to understand that. I had to understand that. Just because people carry titles from mother to great, 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 great grandparents, all of them, does not guarantee that they will love us the way we need to be loved. They too experience pain, hurt, and they too have to choose how to see their experience. So we can't wait on others to catch up. We have to lead the way. And we lead the way by remembering who we are. This is Timika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. And I'm going to tell you that the best way we can do it is remember who we are, is we realize we have to heal. So if you can, this holiday season, when you have time, sit down and look at the advantages of forgiveness, of gratitude, of parting ways from the experience. How can you use your pain, the energy of pain, to make your light brighter? How can you go into this new year with saying, with believing, with knowing that your life has purpose, with taking your life back and leaving the baggage where it belongs? One of the best ways that I do this, that allow me to see things a little clearer, is by writing it down. By writing those words, it doesn't have to be pretty. Remember, truth is truth. You don't need to pretty it up. That it will find its way to come alive. And if you sit down, take 5-10 minutes before you go to bed and really sit down and start thinking about, how will this year be different? How will you part ways with anxiety, depression? And knowing that those diagnoses aren't you, they are labels. And often in the labels, we live according to those labels. So how can you strip away those labels to uncover the real you, the person that is resilient and strong and compassionate, and knows exactly that your life has purpose, and know exactly that, yes, there is a generational cycle of pain, and yes, I can do something about it. And when we remember who we are, we take care of what we have. Then there is no confusion about what foods you need to eat. There is no need for emotional eating. There is more doing, like little children, and we eat when we need to, and then we do more, and we're curious, and we're joyful, and we laugh, and we see right through people and realize, okay, they don't have it yet. But that doesn't mean that I have to stop living. That doesn't mean that I have to be depressed or anxious or have nightmares or daymares. That means I put things where they truly belong. Much of it not with you, not with me. How will you take your life back in 2022? Start now. Don't wait. You can find me on TimikaSChambers.com, my website. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, hoping to send out empowering and inspirational messages and just things for you, words to consider as you continue to create a generational love cycle, letting your light your pain, transmuting that to light. It's energy. How can you use it for good and not evil? Take care of yourself. You have the right to live your life, to fulfill your purpose.